Part 1. The night everything changed. I am an old man now. My hair is white and my hands are weak. I walk slowly and I speak softly, but my mind is still full of memories. I remember many things from my life. Some are happy, some are sad. But there is one night I can never forget. That night changed everything. When I was young, I worked as a policeman. I loved my job. Every day, I put on my uniform, checked my badge, and went to work. I believed in justice. I believed that my job was to protect the city and keep people safe. I caught bad people, and I felt proud. My life was simple. Every day was the same. I did not expect anything to change, but one night everything changed. It was a cold night. The sky was dark. The streets were quiet. There was no one outside. My partner and I were sitting in our police car. We were watching a big house. We had a report. Someone said that a thief was inside. This thief was not like other thieves. Her name was Sarah. She was smart. She was fast. She was careful. She never hurt anyone. She only stole from rich people. People said she was like Robin Hood. I did not believe in stories like that. For me, a thief was a thief. We waited in the car. We did not speak. The night was silent. The only sound was the wind. I looked at the house. The lights were off. The windows were dark. Then, suddenly the front door opened. A woman ran out. She wore black clothes. Her long dark hair flew behind her. She was fast. She moved like a shadow. She turned her head and saw us, but she did not stop. She did not run in fear. She smiled. That smile surprised me. I opened the door and jumped out of the car. I started to run after her. My partner stayed in the car and called for help, but I did not wait. I wanted to catch her myself. I ran fast. My heart was beating hard. My breath was loud, but I kept going. Sarah ran through small streets. She turned left, then right. She jumped over a fence. She climbed a wall. She knew the city well. She moved quickly and easily. She was not afraid. She was strong. I had chased many thieves before, but this was different. She did not run like she was scared. She ran like she was free. It was like a game to her. And in this game, I was always one step behind. She turned and looked at me again. Her smile was still there. It was not the smile of someone who was guilty. It was not the smile of someone who was in danger. It was something else. It was calm. It was confident. I started to feel something strange. I was not angry. I was not tired. I was curious. Who was she? Why did she smile like that? We kept running. The city was sleeping. The lights in the houses were off. The wind was cold, but I kept running. I could not stop. Finally she stopped. She stood in a narrow alley. The walls were high. There was no way out. She turned around and faced me. She was breathing fast, but she looked calm. Her eyes looked into mine. I pointed my gun at her, but I did not shoot. I did not shout. I just looked at her, and she smiled again. That moment, that one smile changed everything inside me. I did not know why. I did not understand it, but I felt it. That night, I met someone different. That night, I started to change too. Part 2. The smile in the alley. Sarah stopped running. She was standing at the end of a small alley. The alley was narrow and the walls were high. There was no way out. It was quiet. The wind blew softly. The city lights were far away now. I stood a few steps away from her. I was tired. My heart was beating fast. My legs were shaking. But I pointed my gun at her. I was ready to arrest her. She turned around slowly and looked at me. She was breathing fast, but her face looked calm. Her eyes were big and brown. She did not look afraid. She looked peaceful. Then she raised her hands and said, "You caught me." Her voice was soft, not loud. She was not shouting. She was not crying. She was not angry. She was not scared. She just stood there and waited. I took a step forward. I still pointed the gun at her. But something felt strange. I had caught many thieves before. They all ran. They all cried. Some even fought. But Sarah did none of that. She smiled. And then she asked me a question. Are you sure you want to do this? I didn't answer. I just looked at her. My hands started to shake a little. I tried to hold the gun still. But she saw it. She saw that I was unsure. She tilted her head and watched me closely. You're different, she said. Most policemen don't think. They only follow orders. But you are thinking. Her words made me feel nervous. What was she saying? Was she trying to play with my mind? Was she trying to confuse me? I looked at her and said nothing. The alley was cold. The wind touched my face. I heard my radio make a sound. My partner's voice came through. Did you catch her? He asked. I did not press the button. I did not answer. I just stood there. Sarah smiled again. You don't want to arrest me, she said. I shook my head. That's not true, I said. My voice was strong, but inside I was not sure. I was confused. She laughed a little and said, You can lie to yourself, officer, but I see the truth. Her confidence surprised me. She was not scared. She was calm. It was like she already knew what I was going to do. I took a deep breath. Then I said, Turn around. My voice was louder now. I had to finish my job. I had to do what was right. She turned, slowly. But then she asked another question. Do you know why I steal? I did not want to hear her answer. I did not care. A thief is still a thief. But she continued. I steal from the rich, she said. I take from people who have too much. I help people who have nothing. I felt something inside my chest. A small feeling. A small doubt. Was she telling the truth? Was she really helping others? I told myself to stop thinking. I told myself to focus. I had to arrest her. I reached for my handcuffs. I was ready. But she moved. She stepped back quickly. She didn't run. She didn't fight. She just moved back and looked at me. She was testing me. She wanted to see what I would do next. And to my surprise, I did nothing. I did not chase her. I did not shout. I just stood there and watched her disappear into the dark. The alley was empty again. Only the wind remained. I looked at the place where she had stood. I clenched my fists. I was angry at myself. I had let her go. I did not know why, but I had. My radio made a sound again. My partner asked, Did you catch her? I looked into the night. I waited for a second. Then I pressed the button and said, No, she got away. But deep inside I knew the truth. She didn't get away. I let her go. Part 3. A choice beyond the badge. Days passed, but I could not stop thinking about her. I tried to work. I tried to stay focused, but my mind was not the same. I walked through the police station, but everything felt different. I felt like a stranger in my own world. My partner brought me a file. He dropped it on my desk and said, Her name is Sarah. I opened the file. Her face looked back at me. The same dark hair, the same brown eyes. She was wanted in 3 cities. She had stolen from banks, from big houses, and from rich people. But she had never used violence. She had never hurt anyone. I closed the file, but I could not forget her. Every night, I walked through the city. I looked at the streets. I looked at the windows. I hoped to see her again. I told myself I just wanted to catch her, but deep down I knew it was more than that. I needed to understand her. I needed to know why I let her go. Then, one evening, I saw her again. She was walking down a busy street. Her hands were in her pockets. Her steps were light and quick. She looked like a normal person, not a thief, not a criminal, just a woman. I followed her quietly. She walked into a small cafe. I stood outside and looked through the window. She sat at a table. She was drinking coffee and looking at the street. She looked peaceful. She was not hiding. She was just living. I took a deep breath and walked inside. The bell above the door rang. She looked up and saw me. Our eyes met. We did not move. Then she smiled. "Officer," she said. "I didn't think we would meet again so soon." Her voice was soft and calm. I sat down across from her. "Why did you let me go?" I asked. I wanted to hear the answer. She leaned back in her chair and took a sip of coffee. "I didn't run," she said. "And you had a choice. You chose to let me go." Her words were simple, but they hit me deep inside. She was right. I had made a choice. And now, here I was sitting across from her again. I should have arrested her. I should have called for backup. But I stayed because I wanted to understand. She looked at me and said, "You want to know why I do it? Why I steal?" I nodded. "I steal because the world is unfair," she said. "Rich men take too much. Poor people have nothing. I take from the rich. I help the ones who need it." I looked at her. She spoke with belief. She was not angry. She was not making excuses. She really believed in what she was saying. I said, "Stealing is still a crime." She smiled again, as if she expected that answer. "And yet," she said, "you let me go." Her words made me feel strange. She was not wrong. I had let her go, and now I was not arresting her either. I was drinking coffee with her. The waiter came and placed a cup in front of me. I had not ordered it. She had. "Drink," she said. "You look tired." I picked up the cup. It was warm in my hands. I took a sip and kept looking at her. "What do you want from me?" I asked. She laughed quietly. "I should ask you the same thing. You're the one who followed me here." We sat in silence. Outside, the city kept moving. Cars passed. People walked by. But inside the cafe, it felt like time had stopped. Then she stood up. She put money on the table. "You have a decision to make," she said. "Catch me, or let me go again." Then she turned and walked out. I watched her go. My heart told me to get up to do my job, but I did not move. I looked at the empty chair. My hands were still warm from the coffee. I had let her go again, and this time I did not even try to stop her. Weeks passed. I did not see her, but I thought about her every day. Then, one night, after work, I saw her again. She was standing in the shadows near an old building. "You shouldn't be here," I said. She smiled. "And yet, here I am," she replied. She took one step closer. "Tell me, officer," she said, "if you had to choose between what is right and what feels right, what would you do?" I had no answer. She waited. Then she said, "Come with me." My chest felt tight. "You want me to leave everything?" I asked at that. She nodded. "You don't belong in that world anymore. You already know that." I looked back at the street, at my old life. Then I looked at her. A thief, a woman, but also someone who had changed me. I took a step forward. She smiled. And from that moment on, I was no longer chasing her. I was walking beside her. This is the story of a policeman who changed. He was a man of rules, of duty, of justice. For many years, he followed the law and believed in doing what was right. His life was simple, and he never asked questions. He caught thieves. He protected the city. He thought he understood the world. But one night, he met Sarah. She was not like other criminals. She was fast and smart, but she never hurt anyone. She only stole from the rich. She said she gave to people who had nothing. She smiled when she was caught. She asked questions that made him stop and think. The policeman had a choice. He could arrest her, or he could listen to his heart. He let her go. He told himself it was a mistake. But deep inside he knew it wasn't. It was a decision, a feeling, a new path. They met again. She talked. He listened. She made him think about justice in a different way, not just rules, but people. Not just law, but kindness. At the end, he left his old life behind. He walked beside her, not as a policeman, but as a man searching for something more. This story teaches us something important. Sometimes, doing what is right is not the same as following the rules. Sometimes we must listen to our hearts. We must think deeply. We must be brave enough to change. This story shows us the power of choice, the power of thinking, and the power of understanding others, even people who seem different from us. You have just finished a full English story. That's a big step. You listened, you understood, and you learned. Be proud of yourself. This is how language grows step by step, story by story. Now, let's test your listening. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us a lot and gives us motivation to keep going. Also, consider donating if you can. We create these stories for free, and in the beginning, it's very hard to keep making high-quality content without support. Your help means everything. Thank you so much for listening, for learning, and for growing with us. See you in the next story.